minutes.
Yeah?
Short. You gotta think all of that, the back and forth, a little bit of expounding on it, took 3 minutes.
Yes. It's just about pulling it out of me. I have it all.
Yeah.
But
You got
how
the
to-
knowledge, but how do you, because so much of what you have and what you're able to explain is more of a slideshow, a PowerPoint. It's, these are the key metrics you've got to be able to hit, and you've got to be able to change to make your business from the owners pulling owner draw whenever they want and screwing up the finances versus the owners now taking a substantial paycheck, which they absolutely don't want to do because then they incur tons of tax liability.
And the financials are definitely a huge piece of what has to be in place to be able to have a sellable asset, right? So you want stable financials. You want someone to be able to look at your financials and understand what's going on and then see that there's still room for them to make a profit if they were to buy it after they take care of their debt, vehicle, or whatever that looks like. I had a deal that I've been looking at for a couple of months now, and I've only decided today it's not a deal, and it really came down to how the P&Ls played out and how much of a burden that the payment structure would be based on the P&Ls that I was given.
The P&Ls just showed that they were doing owner draws and excessive owner brand new trucks. Being able to do that, you can write it off on the company. Yes, you can, but that severely affects that P&L for that year if you're spending $90,000 at a company to buy new vehicles.
Absolutely. And, you know, as entrepreneurs, we tend to play what some people jokingly call the shoebox game. If I can make it a business expense, then it saves me money. But when it comes to trying to sell your business, it also costs you a lot of money. You know, your valuation is wrapped up in how much you make on that bottom dollar. You know, and there's ways around it. You can do add backs and adjust the P&L based on self-discretionary earnings.
Nobody wants to do any of that BS. They want to be able to look at the QuickBooks P&L, blah, blah, here it is, here's all the line items, here's how everything's budgeted, and make sure that the numbers work.
Yeah. And I've also noticed in some P&Ls, the naming structure of the items in the P&Ls do not always connect. So in one year it may be, let's say, lighting. The next year it may be lighting and internet and utilities. And then the next year it may be just utilities. And so all of those naming structures communicate something different. And so if you clean up those P&Ls to make sure that they're uniform across the board, it really makes it easier for a buyer. And you don't want major income swings on that bottom dollar year to year as well.
That shows either lack of consistency or something's off inside of the financial.
Yeah.
And you'd hope it'd be lack of consistency. Because the last thing you want to commingle funds, and then you've got to try to figure out how to pull that out, and then that puts you another 2 to 3 years out.
Yeah.
Because you got to be able to show that that's good, unbiased reporting.
And really it comes down to risk for the buyer. Where is the risk? How do you mitigate the risk? How do you make it a easy buy for the buyer? That's what makes your business marketable.
Nice.
That's documentation, that's SOPs, and I've created this whole process. So I've been working with a couple of pro bono clients on my new process and doing intensives instead of more of a coaching style setup. And the intensives, when I'm done with my clients, they have all told me this is pure gold.
Yeah.
No one is teaching this. And it really goes to what are those risk factors for the buyer. However, you don't always have to be in the mindset to sell, because a business that's easy to run is also easy to sell, and it comes down to operations and a lot of times, you know, and some other things kind of touch those operations, but you can get the operations really dialed in, look at the other risk factors that a buyer's going to consider when buying your business, and you can mitigate all of that. Then you'll have an easy time selling your business. But what happens is people either don't know that work, don't know they need to do that work, or don't know how to do that work, and then it doesn't happen and their business closed down without getting an offer. And it just, it makes me so sad when that happens, because there's this thing, it's like,
Okay, but doesn't a lot of time the entrepreneur doesn't understand the value in getting everything written down, even though they do have their sales process within their CRM. They may have their operation field process set up within a few dozen Excel spreadsheets. It all just kind of need to be put together, but they don't have a specific, like an ISO form where everything has to be kept in this one thing and updated as things change. But that's also what makes the companies that have those really big registrations such big companies, is that they have to have it so tight on the paperwork side that it then forces them to conform to an identity. Now, a lot of these entrepreneurs, they've been doing it, the business, I did it myself, becomes the identity, but then it's so hard to pull that person out.
yeah.
So how can we look at marketing towards the people that are looking to get out, but they don't see the value within it, to put them in a program that's $200 a month, and to be able to say, hey,
What's $200 a month?
figuring out a program for these people. If they don't want to pay $10,000 a year or $5,000 to go sit down and do an intensive.
Okay, yeah, that one, you can't put that on the internet, because I'm not charging $200 a month.
You can charge whatever the hell you want to charge.
My intensive right now is at $1,500. After that, so the whole flow that I've built out for clients right now, so we do a 1 hour kind of meet and greet sales pitch kind of thing, right? I tell them about the intensive, I learn about them, I say the intensive is a good deal for them, like a good fit for them, and then, but that meeting's no charge, it's an hour consultation, just get to know you, connect, that kind of thing. At the end of that meeting, and that meeting may shorten as my demand goes up, because there's only so much I can do. Once that meeting is done, then we schedule a 4-hour intensive. This intensive dives deep into their business. It's looking at all the different things underneath the umbrella of operations. And usually what comes out of that is a multifaceted, multi-page report talking about the findings of that meeting that we had, their next action steps, their next 90-day rocks, those big levers that they need to pull to get them where they want to go. Once I get that report done, that whole process costs them, as of right now, $2026, $1,500. I do expect that price is going to go up. I could see it going up as high as $5,000, maybe more in the future. Once I get that piece done, yes, it is a business inspection. Once that piece is done, they have one of 3 options. They can either take the report I gave them and go do it on their own and implement all the things by themselves, which most of them is never going to do that. They can then hire me and a monthly retainer fee. And I haven't figured out what that price is going to be yet, but it's not going to be $200 a month, I can promise you that.
No, that's for the video courses. For them to have access to, okay, you need to build SOPs. Here's 15 videos on SOPs.
Or thinking more of like a consulting for equity situation.
Yeah.
And so I may lean one way or another as time goes along, but then the retainer piece, we would meet probably twice a month and work on different parts. Meeting A will be about tactical business. Meeting B will be about leadership and coaching and things of that nature. That's how I have it set up right now. It may change as I grow and learn and all that.
Come on, redneck, hit the bar. There you go.
And so yeah, that's what I've built out, and I've gotten really good reviews so far. Even in the first 1 hour phone call I just had with someone this week, they were like, "Holy cow, you're really good. You really know your stuff," which is super enlightening, because I've gotten a lot of pushback. I'm too young. I'm too girly. I'm too whatever. And people tell me I don't know my stuff, but I've always shown up and always impressed people with what I have to offer.
Yeah.